Today, you're going to watch me onboard a brand new one-on-one student who has never traded a day in his life. I break down candlesticks, the basics of a breakout, market cap, free flow, and all the things that truly matter to make you a successful trader. Grab your paper and your pen, put those kids in the closet because this is an absolute masterclass. Trading is going to finally make sense for you at the end of this video. If you're a brand new trader and you want to learn from somebody who's back tested over 2,500 plus trades over the past 12 months, I'm looking for 5 more men or women who want to learn 6 setups that have over a 70% plus win rate, and I have the numbers to back it up. Send me the word stallion on IG or Facebook and I'll see if you guys are a good fit. Enjoy the video.
Click on the stocks tab on the left hand side. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and unlock Turbo Trader over there. Perfect. All right, cool. So now, well, I forgot. You have to pull up the top gainers list in the browser. So go to the markets tab, the like planet icon. Yeah. And then on the top gainers list, you're on pre-market already. Double click on XPON. There we go. Okay, cool. So now if you zoom out a little bit on the chart, you'll be able to see, not only pre-market hours, but also you can fully see after hours as well. So remember, like the purple background is your extended hours. And extended hours includes after hours trading from last night, which goes from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then also it starts at 4 a.m. and goes all the way to 9:30. So right here, we have the top gainer for the day. This is literally one of the first things that I do. Before we hopped on our call, I went through all the top gainers lists and I was just taking a look at all the different stocks. XPON right now is the top gainer. It went up over 114% since the market opened at 4 a.m. So yesterday we tried to hit the buy button. We did that. Did we do that in pre-market? Yeah, it was in pre-market, right? And you hit the buy at ask button and it didn't fill your position at all?
No.
Okay, cool. So what I want to do here is I want to do a test order, but I want to do it on a stock that maybe we can make a couple dollars on. I was going to get you to do, if you click on the next one right below it, SNOA, I was going to get you to do this one, but it's already started to run a little bit more than what I would like, so we missed our opportunity on that. That one's a bit risky because it's already broken out and it's already running right now.
Got it.
Let's see if we can find something else. Let's do XOS. It's going to be 2 tickers down. Yeah, perfect. All right, so this one isn't close to breaking out just yet, but it is moving in the right general direction. So let's go ahead and go down there to the buy on Turbo Trader, the buy at ask button, and it should be the first one, right? With no stop loss. Yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on that button. There you go. So your little blue thing looks a bit different than mine. Scroll down a little bit on the right-hand side and go down to positions. Yeah, okay. So yeah, you're up $3 already on that. So you are in. See where it says PO, the blue box right there, POS 41 at 481. That looks a little bit different from what mine looks like on the desktop app. But what that means is you have 41 shares at $4.81 right there.
Okay.
So on that little bar on yours, it's not showing how much you're up or down. You'll have to scroll down to positions, and you'll easily be able to see where you're up or down. Okay, and that button is going to be how you get filled in pre-market. So when you hear me say, I'm going in right now, and we're in pre-market, that's the button that you're going to click, right? Okay, cool. So now, do you remember what button you press to sell and exit out of your position in pre-market?
That is sell bid.
Yep. Can you hit the flatten button?
Let me see. Cancel all orders. Yeah, you want me to hit it now?
No, it was a trick question. The reason why I asked you that is because my buddy Chandler, he tried to hit the flatten button when he first started trading in pre-market, but I had to remind him, you can't do that in pre-market. So remember, flatten is great. It cancels all your orders and it gets you out of the stock during market hours only. So in pre-market, you're 100% right. You can only do sell at bid. So we're currently down $2. Let's give it a couple of minutes here and see if it can bounce back. Oh, there we go. Go ahead and hit the sell bid button now. We're up 5 cents.
Sell. You said sell bid?
Yeah,
Got it.
sell bid right here. Okay. Yep. And it took you out of that position. Perfect. So now the only thing about the browser version here, let me pull up my browser version and see if I can't find a way. So on the desktop app, there's a way that you can see your closed positions, which is really
Um,
nice because after you close the position, it's nice to see like how much you made or how much you lost on the trade without having to go over to your account. Let me see if I can find a way to turn that on.
I think that was orders.
Yeah, orders will show you like the orders that you put in.
There it is.
Oh, hold on one second. Let me see. Yeah. So that showed where you bought and where you sold at. What I would
Right.
like for you to easily see is like how much money you made or you didn't make on that stock. But
Okay.
unfortunately, it looks like on the left hand side, we can still see. If you go over to the left hand side, one of those icons near the bottom is the account. It's the one that kind of looks like a wallet right above the dollar sign.
Paper. Paper. Oh, got it. There it is. Account.
Yeah, account. Yeah, you can click on that one. And then, oh, 1 second. And then from there, so if we go to positions, you can see your account P&L right there in the middle. You're up 9 cents. So that shows what you're up for the day. Under the My Positions tab, it doesn't give you an option to like right click that, does it?
For my positions.
Yeah, My Positions.
No, sir.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see the easiest way where you can go in and you can see like how much money you make on each trade, which is really nice. Hmm. Let's see. Account, order history. Okay, go to account details.
Account. I got it.
Or well, actually, you can see it on P&L details. Go back to P&L details. Right there. There you go. XOS right there. That's the one we just traded. You can see
Got it.
right there the P&L right there, right up there at the top. You see where it says cumulative P&L and it says plus 9 cents.
Yes. Yep. Got
That's
it.
how much you made on that one. So if you ever want to see how much you made on a specific trade, you can come over here to account, go to P&L details, and then you can easily see. Also,
Okay.
too, you can always just go to the account tab, see how much you're up for the day, and then you got a good idea of how much you're up for the day. But sometimes in the live stream, I'll just always try to make sure that everybody executed correctly and try to get feedback. So typically, I know everybody's position sizes for my students. So like I'll ask you like, hey, how much did you make on that trade? And then I'll try to calculate, make sure you got the right percentage on it, give you some feedback on it. Okay, sweet, dude. Awesome. So you just made your very first trade with my strategy. Well, we didn't really use my strategy, but you made your very first trade on Weeble right here. So good deal. Okay, cool. So now let's go back to the stocks tab, top left-hand corner. All right. And now what I want to help you do is kind of what I do, like the process that I walk through. So let me go ahead and pull up my desktop app. So now what we want to do is we want to go through and we want to set alerts on everything in the morning. It's one of the very first things I do, right?
Right.
So the best way for you to learn is just like, let's go through that process. So let's click on the very first one, XPON. All right. So on XPON, you can see if you take your cursor and you move it over like, the first larger green candle that you see right there in the middle of your screen. If you move the cursor over there, and actually, can you make the news and comments and everything a lot smaller so you can see? Yeah, just minimize that. Perfect. You see like the first big green one right there in the middle. Yep. So if you move your cursor a little bit more to the left of the first like larger green candle, a little bit more, that one right there. Yep. So you see what time that one popped up right there?
I do. That was, let me see here. 8:14, 4:05.
Yep. So yesterday I mentioned to you from 4:05 all the way, from 4 a.m. all the way till 6 a.m. It's really not worth it to trade. You do occasionally get stocks like this that make big moves. So obviously this move went from 4 a.m. all the way till, it started from 4 a.m. all the way till 4:40. There's two reasons why I don't trade during that time frame. One, you don't see this very often, and then two, I'm not waking up at 4 a.m. Darian. I just ain't doing it, bro. So that's the reasons why I don't trade. So I don't count any of the breakouts that happen from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Because technically, if we're going by my breakout strategy, we get that first big green candle, and then we get a red candle, and then we get a break above it, right? So technically, that's a breakout right there. And then we get another breakout again. Well, since I don't trade during that time frame and I tested all the data and I know it's not worth it to trade during that time frame, I don't count any of those breakouts. Like I see them obviously, but I don't count them as breakouts, right? I only count breakouts that happen after 6 a.m. So now when I sit down at the computer, I just literally want to take a look at like where's the highest point on this chart right here. So if you take a look right there on the big green one, the final green one that reached all the way up there to 349, that's going to be our highest candle, right? And then the very first thing that I look at is like, what time did it reach that high? And it was 4:40 a.m., right? So that was still early in the morning. So this stock hit its high around 440, and it's been pulling back ever since. So I don't know if this one's going to come back or not, but what I want to do is I want to set a horizontal line across that high. So what you want to do is you want to grab that the pencil icon, top right-hand corner, grab a horizontal line. Yep. And you want to put it across the body of that candle right there, which should be zoomed all the way in. The price on it should be right at $3.38. And the reason why I zoom in all the way, bro, just so you know, is because you're going to hear me sometimes in the live stream say this one's going to be really close. It's going to come down to the last second. Okay. And, making sure that you buy on the right candle can be a massive difference in percentage gains, because sometimes if a stock just barely breaks out and you enter because you zoomed all the way in, that next candle might go up 20%, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure you get in on the right candles. Okay, perfect. So now in this scenario, what you want to do is you want to right click on that, or well, does it allow you to right click on that line?
Yes, sir.
Yep, create alert. Right there at 337. And then unfortunately this one doesn't give you the option to include extended hours, so I'm hoping that it just automatically includes extended hours. So just go ahead and hit the save button. We're going to find out today if your alerts are going off with mine in pre-market, then we'll know. So now, bro, I always say I feel naked in the morning until I get my alert set, right? Because my job is to track every single breakout that happens in this market. There should not be a fucking breakout that happens without me knowing about it, right? So at morning time, the most important thing that I can do is set all of my breakout levels, which is what you just said. You set your breakout level and then you set your alert. So now if XPON breaks above that highest level of 338, we're going to get alerted. So we'll be able to identify that one. So the next thing that I really look at, bro, is I look at a couple different things. I look at the price of the stock that it's currently trading at. And this is where we're going to start to get into a little bit more advanced stuff, where I'm going to have this really cool dashboard that I made that you're going to have access to, where you're going to be able to go through if you want to, like if you want to like really take the time. And this is what I do every single day. I've tracked over 1,600 plus trades. So if you ever want to go back and you want to take a look at just all the stocks that were priced between $1 to $2 and you wanted to see how well they performed over the past 8 months, you're going to be able to do that because I've tracked every single breakout, right? But a couple of things that I look at is price of the stock. So right now I see XPON is trading at, one. Well, let me take a look. What is the price for XPON right now? It's trading at $2.94, right? So in the top right-hand corner, you might see that it says $1.31, right?
Right.
That is the price that it closed at yesterday. So market technically closes at 4 p.m. So that top price, 131, is the price that it closed at yesterday. And then underneath it, you see the pre-market trading where it says $2.93. That's the current price, okay?
Okay.
So we see it trading at $2.93. I take that into consideration. You're going to hear me say on the live streams a lot. We make jokes about it. Hey, I'm not taking that one. Price is too high for me, because I'm looking for very specific like prices. Like, for example, from 8 to 9 a.m., when I back test the data, one of the best setups are stocks that are underneath $1 that break out. So I try to take all of those trades. So if a stock isn't underneath $1, then typically from 8 to 9 a.m., I'm not taking that trade, right? Now, something else that I look at, if you click on key statistics over there and you click like the little drop down arrow,
Oh, this one.
Yeah, right there in the middle. Yeah. So there's two other things. There's a whole lot of information here, obviously, right? There's really just two things that I look at. So the number one thing that I look at is going to be the market cap. So if you take a look on the first row on the left, if you take a look at market cap, you'll see where it says 4.42 M. Do you see that?
4.42 M.
Market cap.
Hang on one second. You said to the left though?
On the left row. Yeah.
I'm looking.
Yeah, there you go. So let me explain market cap to you. In simple terms, bro, market cap is what the market has this company valued at. All right. So XPON is obviously a company. I don't know shit about this company, don't care about the company, right? But it's a publicly traded company, and this company is trying to be profitable, right? And remember, the stock market is nothing but a big casino of a bunch of people trying to gamble on which company they think is going to do best or which company they think is going to deliver the most gains, right? So market cap just takes the amount of shares that are available on the market multiplied by the price, and that's going to give you an overall evaluation for the company. So right now, the market, with the market pricing this stock at what it's currently priced at, this company is currently valued at 4.4 million, which may seem like a lot, bro, but it's actually very, very small in the stock market. So, you have companies like Apple, dude, Tesla, Nvidia, like these bigger companies that are valued at $1 trillion, bro, a trillion with a T and an R. And then, you'll never see those on the top gainers list, because the higher the market cap, bro, the less the stock moves because it's more established. So you remember when I was telling you, like, a lot of people, invest into companies over the long term. They try to, take a look at the business value, the proposition, the revenue, and all of that stuff, and they try to invest into it for a long period of time.
Yeah.
That typically works on well-established companies. But the problem is with well-established companies like Tesla, Apple, and all of those, they don't have a lot of volatility. So they may only go up or down 1% for the day. And obviously, it's really hard for you to grow a small account when a stock is only going up or down 1%. Like, you're probably not going to lose a lot of money, but you're also not going to make a lot of money on those neither, right? Unless you hold them for years and years and years. So for us, we're really looking for any stock that is below 1 billion and preferably below 50 million. It's kind of where the sweet spot is of like stocks that really make big moves. So with that market cap being at 4.4 million, what that tells me is that this is a very small company. This is a startup company. They're probably not profitable. They probably just started up not too long ago, and they're still trying to prove themselves. Now, another way you can think about this, Darian, is whenever there's a small company like this, everybody has this fucking grand idea that they're going to buy and they're going to invest into the new Apple before it gets big, right? Because you hear people saying, oh, if I only would have bought Apple back in 2010 or whatever the case may be. So people are always trying to look for these smaller companies and speculate on which ones are going to be big. And that speculation is what drives these prices to go up and down like they do, right? Okay, so that's market cap. So market cap is the value of the company. Now, the other one that you're going to see is free float. That's on the row on the right-hand side. It's all the way near the bottom. You see where it says free float and it says 3.2 million underneath key stats?
Free flow.
Right-hand side. A little bit further now. Yep. Right there. Yep.
Yeah,
So it says 3.2 million. That's also something very important that I look at that has a direct correlation, like win rate, how much the stock runs. So free float is the amount of shares available out on the market for this company, right? So we have a company. So this is kind of this is the way when trading really started to make sense to me. So almost every single company starts off private, Darian, which means it's just private. Like, people are just starting businesses, right? And then once you become well established enough, there's some businesses that try to go public and trade on the stock market. Now, you may be asking, why the hell would a company go public? The reason why a company can go public is because it's one of the best ways to raise money for your company. So there's a ton of companies that actually are not profitable, and they have to raise money for the first 5, 6, 7 years in order just to stay alive until they start turning a profit. Well, one of the best ways for them to raise money is by going public in the stock market. So the way it works is when a company wants to go public and they want to trade on the stock market, they do something called an IPO, which is an initial public offering. And what they do, them and their legal team and their lawyers, they'll issue a certain amount of shares out onto the market. The amount of shares that are out on the market is going to be the float, right? Now,
Uh-huh.
specifically, the free float is the amount of shares that are available to trade because some shares are distributed to insiders of the company that have to hold their shares for a long period of time, right? So, what the stock market doesn't want is companies to go public where the CEO holds millions of shares because he could do that. He could just distribute himself millions of shares, right? And then as soon as the stock starts trading, he dumps them all on the market and sells them for a profit. It's kind of like what Wolf of Wall Street. Well, he did it a little bit different, but you get the idea, right? It would be
Yes.
bad business, right? So a lot of times the insiders of these companies, they have clauses that say they have to hold them for multiple years before they can easily sell, right? So you have overall float, that's the amount of shares, and then you have the free float. The free float is the amount of shares that are available for retail traders to trade, like me and you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the free float is very important because the lower the float, the typically the more volatile the stock is.
Okay.
So, for example, the free float on this stock is 3.2 million, which is very low. You're also going to see some stocks that have like below 1 million shares on the float, which is extremely low. So that gives us an idea whenever there's a low free float, is that there's going to be traders basically competing for those shares because there's not that many shares out on the market. You got millions and millions of retail traders, but there's only 3.2 million shares out there to trade, right? Which means
Right.
the stock can go up and down very quickly. So that is something else that you'll hear me say, the free float on this one's below 10 million. It's good, et cetera. It's something else that I look at, something else that I track so that I can know exactly which stocks are worth trading. Because for me, I don't want to make trading decisions based off intuition. I want to make them based off data. So one of the first things that I did when I started tracking every single breakout, I started tracking market cap and free float to see if they had a direct correlation to win rate, and they 100% do. So you're going to hear me say that a lot in the live streams. Okay, cool. Does all that make sense so far?
It does, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, sweet. Let's move on to the next stock, bro. Let's go down to SNOA. And this one is rocking and rolling, man. This one is moving. Um, cool. So remember, I don't track any breakouts that happen from 4 a.m. all the way till 6 a.m. So take a look at this stock. Just kind of browse through the candles, and I'll let you do this one. Where do you think you would be putting the breakout level on this one?
Breakout level will go here.
Well, let's take a look here. Remember, I don't count any breakouts that happen before 6 a.m., but have we had a breakout happen after 6 a.m.?
After 6. Yes, sir.
So is that the first one or is that the second one?
That would have been the second one. The first one's right here about 6:10.
All right. So actually, that is
Or
the 610 right there is the second one. Was really. So the red candle at 615 is going to be the second pullback. The first breakout is you see if you move your cursor over, you see the candle at 5:55 a.m. right there, and then the red candle at 6 a.m. right.
yes.
So 6 a.m. is when I'm live on Showtime, right? I count everything that happens after 6 a.m. So let's say theoretically we sat down at the computer at 6 a.m. That red candle right there, the top of that red candle, which would be about 509, would have
Mhm.
been the highest point at that point, right? And then that next candle at 6:05 a.m., that 5 minute candle breaks above that 509 level, right? So
Right.
actually the first breakout was actually right there at 6:05 a.m. So your horizontal line, go ahead and grab your horizontal line and then put it across the body of that candle from 6 a.m. at 5:09 right there.
So 509.
Yeah,
Okay.
once you drop it on there, you can also drag it up and down where you can adjust it. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. So we can see right here that this stock broke out at 6:05 a.m. We obviously didn't take this trade because I don't take any trades from 6 all the way till 8, right?
Right.
So that doesn't mean that I won't. There, that doesn't mean that there possibly won't be a setup that I can trade on it later on, right? So if you take a look at this one, this stock is moving very, very strong, right? So
Mhm.
SNOA, we see that on the right hand side, you can see that in pre-market, it's currently up over 159%. It's actually leading the market right now. XPON was leading the market, but now SNOA is leading the market. So one of the first things that I see after I've established that breakout level at 509, I see that the 5-minute candle at 605 closed above it, right? Well,
Right.
that 5-minute candle at 605, it closed right there at 525. So what I do is I take a rectangle from that level and I see the percentage of how much has this stock moved since it broke out. Now for you, you can't use a rectangle, so you're going to use the trend line. So yeah, top right hand corner, grab that trend line and then started it where that 5-minute candle closed above the breakout level. So remember, the close is going to be the body of the candle, not the wick.
Got it.
But you can always you can move it and adjust it. You can still drag it up to the top and then move it and adjust it from there.
Let me see here. So, hold on, just say 1 second. So you said drag this to the top here?
Yeah, drag it all the way up to where that current candle is at. Yeah, yeah. So where's the percentage at though? There should be a percentage popping up on the trend line. Do you see a percentage or no?
I do not. Let me see.
That's odd. I could have swore trend line had a percentage on it. I'll go back and look.
I thought it did too because I thought we messed with it.
Yeah, same. Here, let me pull up my browser. Yeah, I'm using the trend line and it's showing me percentage, but it's not for you, which is weird. All right, well, how about we delete that trend line and then let's try it again. All right, so let's go back to the pencil icon, grab the trend line again. Oh, I know what it is. It only shows you the percentage on the first time you drag it. So if you drop it, drag it, and then try to adjust it, it doesn't show you the percentage. So
Ah,
basically, you just got to get it right on the first time, and if not, you have to delete it and try again. So
okay.
you don't have to be super super precise like right now. You can worry about being super precise later on. Just drop it near where that 5-minute candle closed, and then drag it all the way up there to where it's currently trading right now.
Oh,
You got to get you a mouse over there, Darian.
I do. I'm actually
Oh, you
using
did?
one today. Yes, sir.
Okay. There you go. And then drag it all the way up to the top of that wick. I just want to see like at the peak. Okay. So you can see that this stock ran over 55. What does it say the top price is right there? Does that say 816?
Yes, sir. 815. Hang on. Yep, 816. Yes, sir.
And you're on SNO. Why is it telling you? Dude, that's so weird. You see where it just changed to 833? It was almost
Yep.
like your price was lagging a little bit because I saw 833 on my chart and I was like wondering why yours says 8. But it seems to be you're completely caught up now. Maybe that
Okay.
was just a lag in the internet or something.
Right.
Okay, cool. But you can see that this stock has moved up, well up over 50%, right?
Right.
So what you're going to hear me is, and what I'm going to teach you in future lessons are certain setups that I look for where if we don't play the original breakout, there's still other setups that I watch for. You'll hear me, and I always come up with funny names for them, bro. You'll hear me say fucking unicorn. You'll hear me say something called the Andronator. These are all setups that I'm going to teach you, but that's something that I'll take into consideration there. It's just something else that I look for on the original pop, because this is considered the original pop, right? On its first move, it ran up over 55%. So we just want to think about what that's telling to other traders because other traders are seeing the exact same thing as us. That's telling other traders that this stock currently right now is making a very strong move, which means later on, going near market open, this stock could make another strong move because it's already proven to other traders that it's currently strong right now. But with that being said, SNOA, I would not be setting any alerts for right now because it's already broke out, right? So being that the stock has already broke out, we're not going to set any alerts for it. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the next one, which is going to be for you. It's going to be IVP right there. All right, cool, bro. So with IVP, what I want you to do, and let's see if you can get this one right. Pop quiz time. I want you to set the breakout level for IVP.
All right. All right.
Okay, cool. So, what we want to do here, I see you put it down around there, 122. So remember, I don't count any of the breakouts that happen from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., but I do count the highest levels from that point, right? So
Right.
for us in this stock right here, we do want to venture off back into all of that price action that happened before 6 a.m. and we want to take a look at it and we want to go off the highest point. So you'll hear me say, not only do I take a look at pre-market trading, but I also take a look at extended hours trading from yesterday. So what you want to do on this chart, one of the first things you want to do is you want to zoom out a little bit. So, and the reason why you want to zoom out is because you cannot see all of the extended hours trading. So zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, perfect. So now you get the full picture. So as soon as where the purple background starts, you want to make sure you can see that because sometimes what happens, bro, as soon as market closes, like at 4:05 or 4:10 p.m., sometimes these stocks get huge boner candles. And sometimes if you don't zoom out enough, you won't see them, right? And you want to
Yep.
make sure you go off the highest point. So right here, we can see in extended hours yesterday is when this stock really started to move, right? And then it peaked at what time was that? 1925, 1930 last night. So that's where we want to do the highest point at right there. So the highest point, my breakout level, I have it at 138. So where you're pointing at, where you have your cursor at, is the top wick. The top wick hit 144, but the top body, like the highest point body point, is $1.38, which is going to be the candle from last night at 1925, 1930. Do you see that one?
It's at 1930.
Yeah, go a little bit more to the left. Yep.
Yep. 1930. This one.
That one right there. Yep. Those two candles had the exact same high point, which should be at 138. So what you can
Yes.
do is take your horizontal line and drag it up to that level because that's going to be your breakout level. And that's where we want to get alerted, right? Because that's the highest point that we've hit. That's where sellers hopped in at, pushed the stock down. So if we break above that level, it's a good sign that we could be going for a new high. And then from there, you right click, you create your alert. Yep, save. Perfect, bro. We're rocking and rolling. So now you want to click on the next one, which is going to be XOS. All right, cool. Now let's take the same thing into consideration right here. There's two things you got to do. Number one, you got to set your breakout level, and then number two, let me know if this stock has broken out already.
All right. So let me see here. Six.
My man, you're getting it down already, bro. You're getting it already. So you nailed the breakout level perfectly. The exact level that I have is 543, and I see you're pulling out the trend line to see, how much it's run. So for me, the next question is just, did it break out yet? And
Did it break it?
yeah, did it break out? So
I'm gonna
by
say no.
So, by definition, a breakout is when a 5 minute candle closes above the breakout level that you set. You
Oh,
set the breakout level perfectly. So, if you take a look right here in the most recent trading, you see the candle that just popped above it right there at 7 a.m. 7 a.m.
yes.
Yeah. So, that green candle closed above your breakout level, which means that stock literally just broke out 5 minutes ago. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So right there, that's exactly what we're looking for right there. So once a 5 minute candle breaks above a breakout level, that is considered a breakout, right? Because where you said that breakout level, that was at 4:30 a.m. And you can see sellers hopped in aggressively right there. That red candle was massive to the downside, right? And then
Yes.
finally, right there at 7 a.m., we climbed our way back up, and then that 5 minute candle closed above it. Now, unfortunately, what you're seeing is considered a breakout, right? Right there at 7 a.m.
All right.
But there's on breakouts, they can either be successful or unsuccessful, right? An unsuccessful breakout is called a fake out. It's when a candle will close above a breakout level and everybody thinks it's about to make a move. But unfortunately, sellers hop in and push it back down, and then it's considered a fake out, right? So it looks like, for example, XOS is going through a fake out right now, where a 5 minute candle closed above it. But unfortunately, instead of it continuing that momentum like SNOA did, it's getting rejected. There's some people who are taking profits. There are people who are selling. So for XOS, this one has already broken out. This one would go on my tracker because I track every single breakout. But and it doesn't mean that I won't possibly trade it in the future for some other type of setup that I look for. But obviously, I wouldn't be trading it right now because it broke out during the wrong time frame. So for XOS, I would not be setting any alerts at all. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so DLO. So for DLO, let's go ahead and set a breakout level on that one. And before you set a breakout level, just make sure you zoom all the way out and you can see all of extended hours. And there you go. Perfect. Okay, cool.
Let's see here. Let's see here.
Okay. So what price is that? 1485?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
1480.
So this is a tough one because this one did a lot of chopping sideways. So on a stock that looks like this, bro, what you really want to do is once you've zoomed all the way out and you get the full picture and you get your horizontal line close, what you have is you have your horizontal line very close. What you want to do at this point is you want to zoom all the way into those candles and just make sure 100% that 1485 or 1486 is the exact price. So if you take a look right there at should be 5:10 a.m.
Mhm.
You see that where that red candle right there at 5:10 a.m. where it's just a little bit higher right there. So you want to take that horizontal line and put it at the top of that red candle. And you should be able to just drag it up just a little bit. And the exact price on it should be right at 1487. Yep, right there. And then from there, then you can right click and then you can create your alert. Yep. Okay, sweet, dude. Perfect. All right. So I think you're starting to get a good concept of breakout levels. So for DLO, what I want you to do now is I want you to tell me what the market cap and the free float on this one is.
On DLO, let's see. Market cap 3.34 billion.
Billion is correct. Billion with a B for sure. All right. So what does that tell you about DLO as a company?
A little bit larger company.
Yeah, larger company. It's valued a lot more at 3.3 billion. And what does that tell you about the stock? Like as far as like how the price action is going to be?
Not sure. Not sure on that one.
Yeah. So bigger companies are less volatile, which means they move a lot less. Remember, I gave you the example of like Apple, Nvidia, all these big companies, they move less. So while this stock has made a pretty decent move here in pre-market, what that tells me is that being that this company is valued so high, that it's a much more reliable company, which means it moves less off speculation, which means for me and you is that we're probably not going to see a 200, 300% move on DLO. You might be able to see a 5, 10, 15% move, but you're probably not. The chances are not in your favor of seeing a big 100% move on this one because it's already valued at 3.3 billion. Now, with that being said, you always have exceptions. Occasionally, we'll see some stocks that are valued in the billions that move for like 100% or more. It does happen, but more times than not, it doesn't, right? Okay,
Right.
cool. So what's the free float on this one?
Free float on this one is at 196
Yep,
mil.
196 million. Now,
Mm.
is that considered a small free float or no?
No.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So there's two things that we have in combination right here. Everything is giving you clues on how the stock could possibly move. One, we got the company valued at 3.3 billion, which tells us that it's probably not going to move as volatile. It's probably not going to move up as much. And then also too, you have the free float that is 196 million. Preferably, we would like to see it below 50 million. Below 10 million is really, really good. But being that the free float is 196 million shares, there's also a lot of shares out on the market, which also will prevent it from being very volatile, right? So
Right.
being that the market cap on this one is extremely high, the free float is pretty damn high. Even though this stock is moving and it's up 25% here pre-market, this isn't like an optimal watch. It isn't a prime time watch for me. So for me, I still track all of these breakouts just that way. If anything changes in the future, I can always have the data on hand so I can, coach and teach people. But for you, when you're going through your list, once you start to realize that, you can still set your alerts on these. But just know that this probably isn't going to be the prime time stock that you watch for the day, right?
Okay.
Okay, cool. So now I think the only one that I really want you to do, so for example, pull up, go back. So your list isn't updating in real time, unfortunately. So go back to the markets tab, the Saturn icon over there. Yep. Okay. And then your pre-market now it's updated now. So we have a stock that's currently moving, WULF. Okay, cool. So WULF. So when you take a look at this bad boy, you see all of the very small candlesticks, all of those green rail ones, all of those very small, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what a chart will look like when there's very low volume. And actually, what I want to do is, so go to here. Let me take a look and make sure you can do it. Yeah. So up there at the top right hand corner, you see like the pencil icon and then like the little chart icon right beside it. Click on that. Yeah, internal VOL, which is volume. I want to explain volume to you. Yeah, so that's going to bring those green bars down there at the bottom. So volume is super important, bro. Volume is the amount of shares that are traded on whatever specific time frame that you're looking at. We're on the 5-minute time frame. So, for example, right here for WULF, let me pull it up over here on my chart as well. I want you to take your cursor and I want you to hover it over the 7:05 a.m. candle. So you can just click anywhere on the chart so you can get rid of that little drop down. Yep. And then hover it over 7:05. One more over. Yep, that one right there. So bottom left-hand corner, you see where it says volume in green on your chart right there. It says 373, 373,000.
Bottom right hand corner.
So you got to keep your cursor over that 7:05 a.m. candle.
Got it.
Yeah, and then just look in the left-hand corner. So it's going to be volume 373. It's in green writing.
Yep, got it.
You see it? Okay, cool. So what that tells you is that tells you how many shares were traded in that 5-minute candle, right? So what we can do here is we can just do some very quick math on how many dollars are going through this stock. Because for me, I always want to make sure a stock has enough volume, especially as you start to grow your portfolio. Imagine going into a stock with $20,000, but the stock only has $30,000 trading through it. You're literally the entire volume. And there's plenty of stocks that have absolutely no volume because the companies don't have anything going on, right? So for me, I always want to calculate just really quick, get an estimate on how many dollars are going through this stock every 5 minutes. So if we just take, 373,000 and we take a look at the price of the stock. During that 5-minute candle, it was trading between $5 and $6. Let's just use $5 as a round number just to give us an estimate. So if we take 333,000, we multiply that by 5, it's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. It's like 1.5 million plus dollars, somewhere between 1.5 million to $2 million flowed through that stock in that 5-minute candle. More than enough for our portfolios, bro. So that tells us immediately that this stock has very high liquidity, which is going to attract other traders. So once a stock starts to get trading over, $1 million plus in a 5-minute candle, it's going to attract a lot of different traders because traders know they can get in and out of that stock, right? In order to take money out of the stock market, there has to be money in the stock that you're trading. Now move over to the candle right beside it. Yeah. Now take a look at the volume on that one. What's the volume on that one?
Volume on this one's 551,000.
Yep, and that stock was trading at, and it started trading at $6 on that candlestick. So you take, 500,000, multiply that by 6, you're looking at a little over $3 million flew through that stock on that candle. Now, if you take a look at the next one, you can see that the volume bars are continuously getting bigger. So move over one more, you can see the volume on that one was over 800,000, and it was when it was trading at $6.30 right there. So that one had closer to like almost close to $4 million flowing through it on that one. So Wolf, for me, is going to immediately go on the watch list, right? So I know that this stock has plenty of volume. There's more than enough money flowing through this stock for not only me, all of my one-on-one students to be trading it, right? So now what I would be waiting for, bro, is I would just be waiting for at least one red candle so I can establish a breakout level. So let's just say, this, if you take a look at the time in the bottom right-hand corner of your Weeble chart, you can see it's 7:18, right? So we got 2 more minutes for this 5-minute candle to close. It hasn't fully closed yet. It's still forming. But hypothetically speaking, let's say this candle does close red. Where's your breakout level going to be?
After 6.
And then what you can do is just grab your horizontal line and put a horizontal line across the breakout level. Mm-hmm. Go with your instincts. You were in the right spot. Yep, right up there at the top of that red candle, at the body of the red candle. Yep, that right there, bro. That would be your breakout level, which should be right there around 651, 650, 651. And it's all depending on, we still got 50 seconds left with this red candle. So this candle would have to close red. Sometimes a candle will be red like this and it'll turn green last minute. Now, if you take a look, so we just looked at the volume for all of these big green candles. Now hover your cursor over any of those very small candles. Like any of those. And then just take a look at the volume over there on the left-hand side. What does that volume say?
4,000.
Yeah, 4,000 shares. So if you take 4,000 and you multiply that by, $5 that it was trading at, only about $20,000, flowed through that stock in that 5-minute candle. And if you take a look at some of those green candles, bro, like it gets super bad on some of those green candles. Like I see one green candle here that had 100 shares traded through it. One had 3,000, one had 2,000. So it didn't have enough volume. It didn't have enough liquidity flowing through that stock for me to even consider it, right? Typically, I want to see at least 10x the amount of what I'm trading with for me to enter a stock. So if I'm going into a position with $10,000, I want to see at least $100,000 flowing through it in a 5-minute candle. Because the reason why is because I don't want to be the one that's moving the stock. I don't want to put $10,000 into a stock that only has $20,000 flowing through it, because at that point I'm 50% of the volume. Like that's just too much, right? You want to be in a stock that has a bunch of traders, a bunch of money flowing through it. So Wolf, now let's take a look at the rest of what Wolf has going on. What's the market cap and free flow for this one?
Market cap's going to be 2.14 billion.
Dog, that's crazy. I was literally just looking. I was looking at. I was like, "Ain't no goddamn way this stock is valued at 2.1 billion the way it's running." That's crazy, but that's something we got to take into consideration because that means this is a pretty good sized company, right? And the higher the market cap over 2 billion, bro, that's one thing about it. The price action looks like it might explode today, but with that market cap, it's like, it's probably not going to move that much today, So okay, yep. What's the free float on it?
Free float's going to be 281.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and then that free float is a bit high as well. It's not lower. So while WULF could make a big move, one of the things, so here's something that to take into consideration. So whenever you have a big market cap and a big free float like that, anytime the market cap is over 1 billion, What you really want to do is you want to take a look at the news they dropped, because the only way that a stock valued above $1 billion plus is going to make a massive move is if they drop some type of fucking news that fundamentally changed the company. Like they partnered up with fucking another multi-billion-dollar company, some shit like that, right? So if you take a look at the bottom right there, like on your bottom section, you can make that a little bit bigger, and you do have a news tab that you can click on. So you see like yeah. So if you click that up arrow right there in the middle, yeah, you can make that bigger. And then from there, you can see the press releases. Now, I don't want you to get stuck in the weeds. If you actually click on those, a pop up will appear where you could read more into it if you wanted to. Really, what I do, bro, and what most traders do is they take a look at the headlines, right? So
Okay.
sometimes these headlines ain't gonna make a lot of sense because some of them are like biotech companies and they have just stupid headlines. But sometimes you can just get a really good idea of, what type of news that they drop. So it says Tara Wolf on one of the press releases, and and keep in mind, they try out multiple different headlines. So they send these press releases out to multiple different distributing, like publishing type companies, and they try out multiple different headlines. So typically it's the same type of news, but they'll try out multiple different headlines. So one thing that I see is that 22 hours ago, they just had their earnings, and it seems like their earnings came in pretty decent. And then it looks like they had some type of, one of the first things that I see is I see the name Google. Immediately, as soon as I see Google, bro, I stop and I'm taking a look because Google is a big name. If you scroll up, it should have been like the third headline down. Yeah, that one. You see Google backstops 1.8 billion of fluid stack obligations and sort of project debt. Now, this headline is a bit odd because it says something like, what we want to look at is really to see if like they had some type of partnership with Google or they partnered with Google, something that would really, really get traders excited. These headlines, while I see that they dropped the name Google, it doesn't really give me a clear picture of like what exactly they're doing with Google. I don't know about you. I don't know what the hell fluid stack obligations is. I don't plan on knowing what fluid stack obligations is. I could look into it a bit more. But one thing that I do, bro, is because there's hundreds of different sectors, and you are not going to be a subject matter expert on 100 different sectors, right? One of the easiest things that you can do, bro, if you ever have a question on like what this headline means, copy and paste the fucking headline into ChatGPT and just tell ChatGPT to break it down to you like a fifth grader. And it's going to give you a very good idea of like what exactly this news is, right? So for me, a lot of times, if I see a headline like that and I don't fully understand exactly what the company is doing, I'll copy and paste it into ChatGPT. ChatGPT will break it down like I'm a fifth grader right there, and we'll move on about it. Now, with that being said, bro, honestly speaking, WLF, I'm still not going to take that trade. I just know because I'm very specific about the setups that I take in the pre-market. So even though Wolf, it's looking nice, it's moving nice, being that market cap is so high, I'm not going to take the trade. Now, what you'll notice is that I have a very specific system that I follow, but you're going to see traders in the live stream that take trades using their own little method or their intuition or scalping on the 1 minute. So what I always tell people, there's always room for you to start to develop your own strategy. You just have to make sure that it's profitable over time and overall you're tracking it. When people get in trouble, when people start losing more money than what they're making, that's typically when I tell them, okay, maybe you should just stop trying to take your own trades and just try this system for a little while longer. Get yourself a good cushion. And then once you build yourself a cushion and you have profits in your account, then you can start to get more aggressive. You can start taking more trades. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
Okay, cool, sweet, bro. So we're getting close to 7:30 here. So we went over a good bit. We went over breakout levels. You now know how to pull up news. You can also make that news tab a little bit smaller now that you're not using it. I would keep that small at all times, just that way you can see your chart very clearly. So I'm going to be going live here at 8 a.m. Will you be available to be in the live stream today as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sweet, dude. So just as a reminder here, Turbo Trader, to get filled in a pre-market, and I would like to, if we take a trade today, I would like for you to try and take the trade with us today, just so you can get some practice in. We're going to be using that buy at ask button in pre-market. And then what button are we going to be using to sell?
Sell at bid.
That's right, brother. That's right. Those are the two main things today for pre-market. And then for market hours, after market open at 9:30 a.m., what button are you going to be using?
Buy and ask with the stop loss and take profit.
That's right. Now, you remember that little blue like little box that popped up on your chart when we entered a position?
Yes.
Yep. So when you do a group order, you're going to see a blue bar in the middle, and then you're going to see like a red bar at the top and a red bar at the bottom. The red bar at the top and bottom is your take profit and stop loss. Now,
Okay.
what you can do is you can grab that little rectangular bar and you can drag it up and down where need be. So, for example, you probably won't have to do it too much with your stop loss because I'll almost always use a 15% stop loss, but you may
Mhm.
have to move your take profit a little bit. You may have to drag it up or down based on what percentage I tell you. And you should be able to see on your bar when you get into an order on your take profit while you're moving it up and down, it'll tell you what percentage your take profit is at. So if you
Okay.
move it up, it'll change it from 15 to 20, 25, etc. Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool, sweet dude. So I'll be live at 8 a.m. If you have any questions, let us know in the live chat, and I'll see you soon, bro.